people. Apologize for getting here late. I actually was eating some nachos. There's not a lot of places to eat where I'm at in the building. And I was eating nachos and preparing for the meeting tonight, and I apologize for keeping you waiting. Now, I was at a bar, and they did serve me a beverage, and it's just one, and I'm not going to be inebriated, I promise you. I hope nobody gets triggered by this a Coors Light bottle. Let me know. Hey, Jackie, how are the crab legs? Jackie, I have to report that the crab legs were disappointing. I mean to tell you, hey Lance, hey Brooke, I've been coming here to this beach for 20 years. Hi Tiffany. And the crab legs were bad, man. They were like briny and soft, and I talked with the manager, and he blamed it on a lack of available good crab. But by the way, the microphone has a sock on it, so if you see some kind of company with a name on it, margaritas. I'm not doing margaritas. I'm doing one Coors Light, and then I'm switching to Powerade. So anyway, I thought I would do the show out here on the balcony. You hear kids, squirrel. Jackie's a squirrel. Squirrel! And then I have no freaking idea what I was talking about. I do that. Let's get the H. By the way, check this out. I've got like a line because I've been wearing this down at the beach, but I just ratted myself out on that. It looks funny. Okay, a question. Can we write down that question? Brooke, I'm going to answer your question. So, had a bit of a rough day at the beach. Jackie's name was Chippy, so she is a squirrel. The riding was painful. It's just painful stuff. And then I was down on the beach, went down to my very last Gatorade, and I spilled it all out. I said a bad word. And it got really cold and really windy. And then I started to have computer problems, and I wrestled with computer problems for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I haven't gotten any writing done. The large family dysfunction. Brooke, we covered that, but I can cover it again. Just give me a few moments, Brooke. She's ready to rock and roll here. We have an early possibility for MVP performance here on the questions. So big families. So I'm going to bring two topics to the table tonight. One is there's the question. One question is, or one topic is, I'm gonna start talking about. I have a written version of the 50 symptoms of narcissistic abuse. Which broadcast? I don't know. We'll cover it again, Brooke. It's no big deal. Why are you frozen on the screen? I don't know. I'm not frozen on my screen. Try to refresh or something. So I found that I wanted to do two things. I wanted to tell my story with depth and with emotion. S.A. Garth. Thank you. Thank you, Sharon. Appreciate that. I wanted to tell my story, the whole story, and it was just painful. We're all good, Ginger says. And then the second thing, is really to describe 50 symptoms for people who haven't maybe are new to it. It's so helpful. The second topic I'm bringing to the table, I want to talk about just a little bit, and then we'll get to Brooke's question. Do you ever have something blow up in your face, and the first thought you have is, it's that dadgum narcissist? There must be a narcissist somewhere screwing with me, because this thing blew in my face, and I had the best of intention. Picture of my baby, my beautiful girl. Jackie, I put that picture out there. I didn't see it. But yeah, I had a little situation where I get like real focus on stuff. I get intense, and then sometimes I'm not always super sensitive to people's feelings. I know you guys don't know this about me, so I'm telling you that I do this. But yeah, I got a little over focused on a goal, and was a little controlling, a little bit dictating, and I wanted to talk about the difference between remorse and shame. Remorse comes along and taps you on the shoulder and say, "It's you, brother, standing in the need of prayer. It's you. It's the man in the mirror that done it. It ain't the narcissist this time. You did it to yourself. So own up." Shame comes along and tells you you're just worthless. You're a piece of crap. I'm going to try to keep the how did it affect my inner self, Lance asked. It gave me insight into my inner self. It turned on a light. So remorse is a good thing. It makes you come alive. It makes you see blind spots, and it's not fun because you screwed up. You hurt somebody. You cause negative energy in the world to come back at you, and then you're surprised, like, why is this happening to me? Why is this always happening to me? And then you reflect on it, and you go, oh, I did that to myself. So it's clean. Remorse is clean, and it causes you to take a moral inventory, fearless and searching moral inventory, and then you can make amends, and you can go to people and say, I'm really sorry. What I did there was uncool, and I have remorse about it. Lance, I will get to your question. That's a good question. Y'all are dropping some good questions on me. I may not have to get into my writing and well, Lance, in this situation, it actually was my fault. Sometimes it's our fault, and if you're not really hi Dawn, if you're not really aware of yourself, sometimes you'll hurt people without meaning to. And then when it blows up in your face, the first thing you should do, don't go looking for a narcissist. Go look in the mirror, dudes. You know where I find most trouble in my life? It's that cat in the mirror. That cat in the mirror causes most of it. A lot of narcissists cause a lot of problem for me, but it's usually because that cat in the mirror, hi Elise, that cat in the mirror lets them in and engages them. So I can just deal with that guy. I'm doing pretty good. So anyway, I'm just saying it feels clean and it feels good to have remorse and to admit to your mistakes. Robert, what's up? Super empath. Oh. You're there, man. Hi, everybody. It's good to hear from everybody. Okay, so let me let me answer Brooke's question. By the way, I want to introduce you to my little tiger. How many other like YouTube hosts have a like little plastic tiger that they play with during their show? I bet I'm the only one. When I was at the treatment center at On-Site 2 years ago, thank you. Mark is regressing. I'm not regressing, dude. This is healthy. Let me tell you about this tiger. This isn't the beer. You don't have keys, and you don't have a wallet, and you don't have a cell phone. And I saw this little tiger, and Peter Levine says, trauma is like there's a tiger in the room. And I just resonated with. So I'd get up in the morning. I had a real, hi Sammy, I had a real pretty marble. I had a marble in one pocket, and I had my tiger in the other pocket. Went put my Mandinka warrior necklace on, went to group, wore my hat, got down to business. But it soothes me. It's okay to have little objects that you can connect with. You've read 4 tutor books since yesterday. Dude, your brain is about ready to frickin'. All right, I'm doing the squirrel thing. Squirrel! Squirrel! Okay. Binging. What's binging? Oh, the books. That's pretty impressive. Anyway, just want to introduce you to my tiger. Okay, we're going to get to Brooke. Brooke, could you talk about the large family dysfunction? Yes, ma'am. So, the thing is 2 people can't raise. I think any family over 4 kids is a massively dysfunctional family. That's my opinion. What happens is the dad is off at work. He's got to make enough money for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people. So you take him out of the equation. So it's sort of like there's a pitcher of water, and the pitcher is the parents, and the water is everything that kids need. There's too many little cups, and you got one frazzled, burned out, codependent mom, and there's 7 kids, and there just isn't enough to go around. So the older ones raise the younger ones, the middle ones, 9 tails. Hey, 19-year-old, welcome. Okay, that's a question from the 19-year-old. We're going to get after that in just a little bit here. So the middle ones get lost, and the younger ones get held accountable, and they're spoiled, rotten, So I'm the second oldest of 7 children, and my parents were Catholic, and they shouldn't have had even one kid. They shouldn't have had a parrot. They shouldn't have had a hamster. These 2 knucklehead parents of mine, and they had 7 children like it was nothing, like you can just do that, and that's people's lives. So I think at one point a pope got together and said, let's outlaw birth control. You know what we'll get? We'll get a lot of Catholics, and that's another area where I feel it and where I see it is like farming families. My ex-wife was 6 of 7 kids, big farming family, and they keep having kids, frankly wanting to get male farm hands. And this my ex-wife's parent had 5 girls and 2 farm hands. So I'm not saying the youngest is always spoiled rotten. No, I didn't mean that. Many times they're abandoned even worse than the first child. So I don't mean to be rigid with that, Jilligan. Good point out of you. So yeah, that's the thing about large families is I always, when I'm doing a family tree, I always ask how many kids there are, and into 2 and 3 generations. The scripture says that the sins of the fathers will be visited upon the children and upon the children's children to the 3rd and 4th generation. So Brooke just asked, is it just religion or are they crazy? She shouldn't say it like that. She said, is it a mental health issue? And no, I think there are people who they want to be validated, and they're validated by having children, because if you have a bunch of children, then you must have your shit together, right? So I think there's like a psychological need for attention from kids. There's such a thing as called baby addiction, where mama is addicted to the babies and they just keep having babies. So I'm doing the squirrel thing. I'm not supposed to do that. So I'll have the questions handed to me. I can't look at the stuff too much here, your questions. So Brooke is the oldest of 8 kids. No wonder you want to focus on that. When you left home, your parents couldn't deal, so they adopted 2 more. Dear God. And now they want more. Yeah, Brooke, that's sick. I mean, it might as well be cocaine addiction. Seriously. It might as well be cocaine addiction. The questions almost flew over the balcony, but I snatched them as they were flying out. The subject matter, Mitchie, so far is Mark's beer and his tiger and his squirrel problem and large families is where we're going. So we're going to switch gears. Lance, you're welcome, Brooke. I'm sorry, Brooke, that you had to grow up in a family of 8 children, because party time. It is sort of cool out here. I don't know if you can't really see in the background. It's lit up back there, but I'm sorry that you had to be, the oldest of 8, and then they're addictively out there looking for more kids. My brother was the oldest of 7, and he really... Hey, Andy. Andy, here's the thing. I don't want to say, and that's so not like me, to not say where I'm at, but I've been finding out from HG Tutor that, I tend to put way too much information out there. Andy, I trust you, Semper, but I'm just going to be laying low for a while. I've been under some genuine narcissistic attack. It's raining up there in the north. Oh, I'm just really not in Florida. We'll say that. There you go. So, okay, Lance, how, when, and where were you when you finally realized the truth about narcissistic abuse, and how did it affect your inner self? Well, Lance, that's a hell of a good question. That's a really good question. Less is more with kids. Thank you, Tiffany. You're right about that. Lance, I was staying in this building on this beach in November of 2015. I was shattered in April of 2015, and I came to the beach to reflect upon my future. I was not getting better. I was getting worse. Nobody could help me. I didn't have a lot of positive energy. I was fragile. Most of my 50 symptoms of narcissistic abuse. The beaches are lovely here. They're lovely. They're wide, and they're really lovely. And I'm doing the squirrel thing. Squirrel! We're conversating. So, Lance, what happened to me was, as I've shared before, I read Jackson McKenzie's book, Psychopath Free. I'm sorry, Nine Tails, that your dad abuses you. I'm really sorry. I wish I could make that go away. So, reading Psychopath Free at the time that I did just lit me up like a Christmas tree, and it attached all the dots. It made all the sense in the world, and it lit my life on fire, and I've never been the same. 3 weeks after I read that book, I sat down and I talked about my 50 symptoms of narcissistic abuse syndrome, and that really reached out and helped and touched a lot of people, which is just like super, super cool. Okay, so got another question here this is from Nine Tails. This is from the 19-year-old. I have PTSD and I'm 19. My father used to beat my mother and my big brother, and he mentally abuses me. I have such hate toward my father. My mother constantly defends him and tells me it's my fault. What should I do? Man, my heart is just broken open for you, Nine Tails. Get out. You're 19. If you can get out, get away. I know it when you have PTSD and you're young, it's probably hard to afford getting out, but your dad is just bringing so much harm and damage to you. So you're 19 and you have no permit. Is that a permit to work? So you're in a situation where you can't get out. Oh my goodness, I just feel so bad for you that you're going through that. Life isn't fair in terms of who your parents are, and she's disabled. We don't pick our parents, they're picked for us. And some people get pretty capable parents, and some people get parents who are just friggin' disasters. And I honestly, I'm squirreling again, but Andy is digging the sound of the sea. You went to Spain in August, and the balcony looks the same. It's not Spain, my brother. It's in the States. But I'm glad you're resonating. But Nine Tails, I guess continue to come to these meetings every week. Cry. Share with your friends. Share with a safe adult. Hopefully get in to see a therapist who can help you. But really, honestly, try to put a wall up between both your father and your mother. And even though you have to live there, psychologically really distance yourself and psychologically detach from the ugliness and from the damage. My mom was verbally abusive, and she would yell and scream and cuss and hit and hold and sit on me when I was little. So I empathize with you. Dudes, I am out of questions. God bless you, Nine Tails. We care about you, and we wish we could do more. Blanky says, reach out to a social worker. So, until I get some more questions, I'm going to talk about the writing. This is chapter 4, 50 symptoms of narcissistic abuse syndrome. A little shot of Coors here before I get into it. I get a bad reputation between the Coors and the Tiger. Okay, so number 1 on the list in the video, I called it. In the video, I called it just crying a lot. But there is a more clinical sounding name, and that's what we call deep processing. I got that term from a pretty famous, I've got another question from Jackie, from a pretty famous therapist, Ann Wilson-Schaef, who wrote a book called Beyond Therapy, Beyond Science. And she talked about the nature of how we heal emotionally. And what does a little kid do when they fall down and scrape their knee? They start to cry. And when we grow up, what we do is we avoid crying. So often, somebody will come in my office. They come into a therapist office and they start to cry and they apologize. Like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, dude, you're in a therapist's office. It's cool to cry. Cry away. It's all good. So I'll just read the writing. This kind of crying, I got a typo here. This kind of crying is crying your guts out for years. Crying your guts out for years. That you talk about recovery. Talk about the best thing you could do for your recovery is cry. I had a lady text me today, and she needed an emergency session. And I said, sorry, dude, I'm at the beach. Hey, Sarah. I'm at the beach, and I can't help you. I'll see you next week. And she went to her, somebody in her life, and she talked with them, and she had a good, long, deep belly cry, and she said she felt a lot better. So that is a wonderful, magical way to heal, is cry, 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 cry. I believe it's the single most healthy thing that you can do to heal and cleanse the wounded little kid who is the core of you. The wounded little kid is the core of you. This kind of crying comes in waves. Hey, we're at the beach. You guys can hear the waves. Isn't that cool? It comes in waves. You'll cry for a little bit. You think you're done. And then another wave comes and you cry for another 10 minutes. And then you think you're done. The other thing about this, it's physically exhausting. This kind of crying will leave you just bone tired. It'll leave you so exhausted, but you'll feel a refreshment of your soul, as if 1,000 pounds of darkness was lifted off your chest. Deep processing, it's very much like throwing up. Nobody wants to throw up, right? But it's very uncomfortable to throw up, but you sure feel a lot better once you've completed your throwing up, once you've gotten it all out. And that's what crying is like, is when you cry it out, you'll feel so much better. Could you give me a throat lozenge from the back end? I'm run out of voice. You got my scratchy voice tonight. So it's very much like throwing up, but once you get it out, you feel better. I said in the video that I'd cried millions of tears, but I don't think it was millions. Probably in the neighborhood of 500,000, I'll bet you. 500,000 plus, and climbing still, because you'll continue to have bouts of deep processing after something triggers you from your past, related to your narcissistic abuse. So guys, don't cry. Oh, dude, I know we're battle tigers, but it's okay to cry, gentlemen. Men are people too. Y'all men need to cry too, just as much as women do. You probably need, on some levels, to cry more if you've been holding it in. Lance says it happens just out of the blue. Brother be minding his own business, and bang, he starts to weep from his belly. That's good stuff. Okay, I got another Jackie. All right, I'll get back to the reading a bit. What's the difference between narcissistic abuse syndrome and narcissistic victim syndrome? Jackie. Hi, Moody. Jackie says she's seen tough men cry. Well, you've seen me cry. I'm tough. I'm about as tough as they come. So, Jackie, I don't like the term phrase narcissistic victim syndrome. Let's get rid of that. That is not helpful. It's a misnomer. I don't like it. I like the word target. I hate the word victim. Because of a lot of reasons you'll see in this book. But narcissistic abuse syndrome, I don't even like the word abuse, but I can live with it, but I can't live with the word victim. So one of the people that have made the phrase narcissistic abuse syndrome popular is me. It's coming from me. All right. A ways back, there was a lot of focus on narcissistic victims syndrome, and it's just too much focus on us being victimized. It's okay, you're crying like a man. I had this man come in many years. It must be over 25 years ago, and he had big, huge hands, and he was in his 60s, and he is weeping. And I tried to give him some tissue, and he wouldn't take a little, box of tissue. I went out and bought him this huge, manly box of tissue. I still have that box of tissue because he didn't cry them all out. This fella had abandonment issues, and I said, "What happened?" He goes, well, my wife had an affair." I'm like, "Wow, oh, I'm so sorry. When did it happen?" I thought maybe he found out that day or the day before. And he said, "Well, it happened 30 years ago." That's how deep abandonment issues can be. If you don't get to the root, to the depth of your woundedness and shift out of victim mentality, you can be weeping for the next 3 decades and not really get any better. Okay. We're getting a lot of support for 9, which is awesome. That's awesome. I love how you're taking care of the 19-year-old. Let's call ourselves the prize fighters. All right. I can go for that. We're the prize fighters. I like it. So, I'll just wait for some more questions. I'm going to jump back into the 50 symptoms. If you'd like to learn more about this amazing healing mechanism, I would recommend Beyond Therapy, Beyond Science by Ann Wilson-Schaef. It's a classic book. Changed my life 25 years ago. Taught me how to cry. Taught me how, when we went to group therapy, we didn't go in with the medical model and pretend like we had our shit together. We went in with our professional masks off, and we got real, and we did work in group, and people loved it. Warrior Church every Tuesday night. Can we call it Fight Club? Let's call it Fight Club. Fight Club. Can I be Brad Pitt? I don't know if anybody's laughing at that, but I thought it was rather funny. Okay. Second thing with Robert's laughing at my joke. The second thing with the 50 symptoms is identity erosion. And in my writing, I said perhaps we should call it an identity explosion rather than identity erosion. Certainly, we do have our identities eroded slowly by these insidious, narcissistic people through years of deception and manipulation and evil behavior and the representation of a false self. It's crazy making. But when a narcissist is done with you, they're done chewing the meat off the bones, they're going to throw you away like you're a worthless piece of garbage without even a second thought. They could be with you for 20 years and throw you away and never think about you again. It's just so cold and inhuman. So what happens to our false selves is that our false selves gets shattered into a billion people because we didn't know who we were, we didn't know who they were, and then we had this horrific shot of reality that just left us bruised and shattered. And then we have to start over. We have to figure out who we are and why we picked this person and who were our parents and who are the good guys and who are the bad guys and how can we protect ourselves and how can we carve out a little bit of blessing and a little bit of happiness in this world. So this is horrific, but it's actually shattering. In my opinion, it's necessary and it's redemptive. See, that's the message of this book: is you didn't get destroyed by a narcissist. You recruited them to help you heal. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good in the Fight Club. At least it was redemptive for me and necessary for me, and it was for you too. Trust me. And I'll get to that later in the book. I had a false self. My false self was a little bit like the famous character, the Wizard of Oz. And I was oblivious, and I didn't know who I was. And I was trying to be bigger and more grandiose than I really was. But underneath it, I had a good heart. I had a caring heart underneath the outer shell. Did I make a moral choice to be oblivious and grandiose? Not at all. If you grew up in my family, you'd be hard and oblivious and grandiose too. You had to have every one of those defense mechanisms in place if you were going to survive in my family. Because in my family, there was some really wicked abandonment and some really harmful abuse in my childhood. The problem with defense mechanisms is once they save you during your childhood, you're pretty much stuck with them. You're pretty much stuck with your defense mechanisms until you get into midlife and you get shattered by a narcissist. And it is the most horrible thing in the world, and it's also the best thing in the world. The theme of the book is turning narcissistic abuse and shattering, transmuting that experience, the blood, the guts, the mud, the dirt, the shit, transmuting it into pure gold. And that's what recovery is all about. So these defense mechanisms can keep you stuck, and some people keep them for a lifetime unless you're blessed enough to go through a deeply healing shattering. See, y'all are blessed. We're blessed because we got to go through the shattering. The blessing's now sweet. Because we're able to transmute trauma into gold. Sometimes it just takes us a little bit to get there. I never seen the Americans. Okay, that was a little squirrel trip here. Okay, JC, is false self the same as core beliefs? No, not at all. Not at all. False self is defense mechanisms. It maybe is a codependent self. It might be a counter-dependent self. But no, your core beliefs are just what you believe. But your false self, signed the squirrel. Okay. So, number 3 is of the 50 symptoms is crippling exhaustion. There aren't words enough in this really long book for me to adequately describe just how incapacitating trauma-related exhaustion is. There is no exhaustion like trauma-related exhaustion. It is as if the mind and the body are overheated and overworked from the intense internal processing that's going on. I'm going to say that again. It's as if the body and the mind are overheated and overworked from all the intense internal processing that's going on. Our generators can only produce so much energy, and when the majority is subconsciously distributed for the work of our survival and healing of our trauma, then there just isn't much fuel left. I'm not talking about fuel in a bad way, in a H.G. Tudor way. I'm talking about just energy to run your life. Then there isn't enough energy left to run your real life responsibilities like working and paying bills and cutting the grass and caring for the kids and doing chores around the house. We have this men's group in our practice, and I had to take a year off because it'd get to be 7:30, and dude, I had to be in bed. I went home and went to bed. I was so tired. Number 4. Okay, I got a question here from Mitchie. Mitchie, I love your name. I wish my name was Mitchie. How do you go from being stuck in the relationship to not needing it anymore? Oh my God. It's sort of like giving up cocaine. You got to go through withdrawal. This woman I was involved with was just, nobody liked her. She wasn't good for me. She was mean to me. She had a false self. She was cheating the whole time. She was a horrifically bad person. But she reminded me of my mom. And when was I most interested in keeping this horrific person? When she abandoned me. So that's a really good question, Mitchie. You have to get to where you love yourself more than you love your addiction. This is an addiction to a bad person, and it's reenacting the wounding of your childhood, and it's not a good thing. So how do you feel? You'll walk around and cry all the time. People are digging Sam Vaknin. That's cool. Smart guy. So you cry a lot. You cry. You feel empty. You feel like going out and getting involved with somebody else, but you know that it's not good. His Sam Vaknin's ebooks are free on Kindle. Who knew? Okay, Mitchie, also from Mitchie. Okay, Mitchie's asking some questions here. If you're in the relationship and you know you've learned what you need to learn from it, why not leave? Because you're addicted. Might as well admit it. You're addicted to love. Whose song is that? Oh no, that's a good song though. I don't like cocaine, I just like the smell. There's this movie called The Scent of a Woman, and sort of about a fellow who's addicted to women. Okay, this is okay. I said okay. It's from okay. How do I turn off my brain and not think about it all the time? My brain is starting. Okay, I'm glad you asked me that. It's on my list here. Just obsessive thoughts, cognitive dissonance. You know what? Okay, it's okay. That's where you need to be right now. Go ahead on and you're processing. Well, when I first went back to work back in July of 2015, I always keep one pad of paper and I take notes about what's going on in the therapy session. But the truth is, I had to have a second notepad. I had to have a second notepad because my brain was processing all the time. And in order for me to be present in the session, I would quickly jot down the thought just to get it out, and then I would process it later. But okay, it's okay. Somebody hears cats hollering. It's the ocean. You know, it might not be the ocean. There's kids. It's kids you're hearing. It's not cats, it's kids. They're playing down in the pool. I'm 8 floors up, so it sounds like cats 8 floors up. So you're good. Okay. You're okay. Just keep. There are some seagulls. It might be the seagulls. Just keep thinking, and you'll be all right. Is there an epidemic of narcissism? Is it getting worse? There's a flood. There is a massive epidemic. Why is it getting worse? Dysfunction has been going from generation to generation for many, many years. And, do the math. My mother was a narcissist and a borderline, and my dad wasn't a narcissist, but he was a massive codependent, lacked a sense of self, had an addictive bubble around him, an addictive personality, and they had 7 kids. So it's contagious from generation to generation, and we're headed for rough times, my friends. Not only do we have one of the worst narcissists on the planet in the White House, for God's sake, why did we do that? But yes, there's absolutely an epidemic of narcissism in the world. That's why people are watching so many videos about narcissistic abuse syndrome recovery. Sammy, what's the best way to get back to who we were? How do we learn to re-like and appreciate all the things we used to really enjoy doing before we got hammered by these psychos? I like the question. It's sort of a hard question. Recovery process, you lose your false self, but in a way, you also lose genuine parts of yourself. And part of the recovery process is regaining your sense of self. One of the things for me is playing basketball. You know, I'm almost 58 years old, and I used to be a decent basketball player. Hope none of my guys are watching. They'll think I'm overstating. But when I got narcissistic abuse, I got 4 times worse, because it's hard to shoot the ball when your hands are shaking. So for me, getting in good physical shape, having my hands not shake and knocking down a 3-pointer is recapturing a sense of myself that I once had. I used to write books every year. I'd write a book every 2 years, but I hadn't written anything in 3 years. And I came to this beach, and I've become reacquainted with my inner writer, and it's really fun. So I don't know if there's how-tos, Sammy. It's a journey, and when your walls are knocked down, what's left? It's that wounded little kid. So you cry, and you get to know that wounded little kid. Jackie's squirreling me again. You get to know that wounded little kid, and then you might develop other hobbies, and you might develop other interests. I've gotten to where Squirrel Mark. It's Squirrel Jackie. I've gotten to where I actually like doing these videos, hanging out with y'all, more so than doing all the. I'm glad. Be something. She comments like because she refuses to hate. I love that. We're not haters. We're not haters. You know why? Because we didn't get victimized. We drew these people to ourselves. We invited them. We didn't know what we were doing, but we're responsible. I'm 6'2.5". I'm a big guy. I'm not going to say how much I weigh, but it's north of 255. Okay, so Sammy, it's a process. It's a journey. All the stuff that we do therapy, we do EMDR, we do meditation, we do yoga, we do massage, we pray, we walk on the beach, we do these things. We are in community like we're in tonight, and it's all about reinventing yourself. It's about transmuting the pain into gold. I can't wait till I get to the end of the book, because the end of the book is going to be the fun part, because I'm going to talk about 50 ways to live the golden life, not the old golden life. Meditation has changed Brooke's life, but gold is in blessing. Gold is in good things. And so that's the journey, Sammy, is take the pain, take the trauma, take the 50 symptoms, take the tears, and transmute them eventually through this process of recovery and turn it into joy, turn it into spirituality, turn it into a healthy relationship, turn it into good things. Grace falls like rain. Rumi. Robert is dropping poetry onto us here. All right. Jedi. Gotta love that name. Do I stay in contact with my mom even though she brings me down every time? Jedi, I can't really tell you. I don't know your mom. For me, I sort of liked hanging around my mom, my narcissistic mom. I hungered for her attention, and being around her wasn't, like, as an adult, directly damaging. She didn't have the power to do a lot of damage then. So, Jedi, I don't know how old you are. I don't know whether your mom is a lesser narcissist or a mid-range or an elite, greater narcissist. So, but a good rule of thumb is that people generally bring you down, stay away from them. You know, if they really are bringing you down, stay away from them. So, I wish I could say more, Jedi, but I'd have to know more about your situation. Blanky. What if somebody else invites a narc into your family? Can I hate? I can't. Blanky's wanting to do some hating. No. I don't think it serves us to ever hate. Sometimes it's hard. There are mean, vicious people who just come at you and come at you. The force be with you, Jedi. Sweet. If somebody invites a narc into your family and they're in your family, this is an oceanside chat. So no, we don't hate. We have little chunks of healthy energy that we build boundaries with, and we keep evil people from munching on our carotid arteries. And that's a good thing. Okay, I'm going to get back to my book. Chat in Scotland. Cool, Scotland. Okay, so the fourth symptom of narcissistic abuse syndrome is panic attacks. So I'm just going to read this. Dear Lord, panic attacks were probably the worst symptom of this condition for me. My former fiance, I'm calling her Susan in the book, she wrote this confession out about doing horrifically betraying things in a red truck. And I swear to you that every single red truck that drove past me or was parked near me spun me into a full-blown, heart-racing, terrorizing, alarm bell ringing, Amber Alert, out-of-control panic attack for about a period of 6 months. Every red truck. You'd be surprised how many red trucks are out on the road. Felt like about half the vehicles were red trucks. And it wasn't half. I don't know how many red trucks are. There's a lot of red trucks out there. You know what? whatever your narc was driving, there's a lot of cars. You'll see them everywhere. Whatever they're driving, you'll look up and there's like 7 of them on the same block. It's weird. This woman also did horrifically sick things with a banana. And I still can't have bananas in my house. When I walk by the grocery aisle, I see bananas, and I'm like, ew. I can't. I don't. Every time I drive by a Red Robin restaurant or a Buffalo Wild Wings, I get sick to my stomach. The worst panic attack I've ever had happened in early June of 2015, late May. Before I went to on-site for the first time. I came home for a weekend from my little makeshift treatment center in St. Joe, Michigan to visit my daughters, see my dog, visit my friends and my brother. But I was still trauma bonded with Susan at the time, and my brother started yelling at me, started raging at me for my out-of-control obsessing about this horrific borderline while we were trying to watch the NBA Finals when LeBron was in it when he lost 2 years ago. My brother was absolutely right when he was talking about how sick it was. Jackie, she's never going to look at the banana split the same way. Jackie. I just ruined banana splits for Jackie for all time. So my brother was right, but I was too fragile to be yelled at. And I was a frightened little boy in a big house, and it didn't feel like my home. And I melted into a total mess when I accidentally found 2 of this her sex addict partner's shirts in the drawers in my house, in my bedroom. I was shattered. I was broken. I was having panic attacks, and I'm sifting through the drawers, and I find 2 of his shirts in my drawers in my bedroom. I think he was a regular visitor to my home. He petted my dog. He slept in my bed. He ate my food. He did sick things in my bathtub, and he even kept a stock of clothes right in a drawer buried under a few shirts of mine. I've seen 2 photos of this monster, and in one of them, the fabric around the neck, like right here, was like cut. He'd like cut it down like this, where my necklaces are. And one of the pictures had shirts like that, and both the shirts I found in the drawers had their necks cut like that. I guess it was his trademark, and they were like hillbilly NASCAR shirts. I hope y'all aren't big NASCAR fans. Don't mean to offend anybody, but this was like a low-life loser shirt that I would not wear, and they both had the neck area cut away like it was in the photo. And I had to have a friend of mine come to the house and take the shirts away because I was just so upset. I couldn't even have them in my garbage can. You can't watch football. Hey, by the way, this is a squirrel thing. My man, Tony Romo, retired. That is so sad. The Texans or the Broncos should have given him a job as quarterback. The guy's brilliant. He's one of the best 15 quarterbacks in the world, and he retired. That's sad. It has nothing to do. Can't watch my Cowboy. Tiffany's a Cowboys fan. Tiffany's all right. I'm sorry that you got traumatized related to the Cowboys. I can watch the Cowboys all day, all night, twice on Sunday. I love me some Cowboys. Sammy says Too much information. So here's the thing, Sammy. I'm sorry if you got triggered. I'm sorry, man. But here's my philosophy is I'm writing a book about what happened. I'm writing a book about narcissistic abuse. Now, when we get to the chapter where there's ugly stuff, I tell you not to read it. Don't read the chapter if it's going to trigger you, if you've had horrific narcissistic abuse. But you know what? There are people out there like me, I think some of you might relate to this, where there couldn't be a story like this coming from triple X rated crap coming out of, I don't even know where those come out of, but the worst pornography couldn't match up, or the worst Hollywood movie. Nobody could write this stuff. And if you've had a life like that, Antonia can't wait to read the book. Woo! I like to hear that. I hope y'all feel that way. It's gonna be gripping. It's gonna trigger you. I'm doing the squirrel thing. All right, but so I'm sorry if it's too much information, but it's a gritty book. And I get to that chapter and I beg people 3 or 4 times, don't read this chapter. Don't get triggered and then say that, reading the book. So anyway, but some of you will read it and go, that's my brother right there. I've been through this same nightmare of this psychopathic sex addict, and I feel a sense of community. I feel a sense of safety. I feel a sense of, I'm one of these people and I have a community. Lawrence, can you explain narcissistic injury? I need another cough drop, Lawrence, before I attack such thing. Narcissistic injury is when you're primitively wounded, where your defense mechanisms go down and you're wounded right into your inner baby, your inner infant. When I was shattered, I experienced a narcissistic injury. Doesn't mean I was a narcissist, because I'm not. No matter what you hear out there from clowns and knuckleheads, I'm not. I swear to you. I got heart. I got empathy. I got compassion. Narcissists don't have that. So, narcissistic injury is shattering, basically. It can happen to a codependent. It can happen to an empath. And it can happen also to narcissists. And when a narcissist experiences narcissistic injury, then the wrath of, the devil comes down upon you, and they will rage. They will, they kill people. They don't let go of a grudge. A greater narcissist, I'm learning from H.G. Tudor, will hate and hate and hate. There's no more bananas for Jackie. A greater narcissist will hate and hate and hate and never give up their hate. And they will go years. Whereas most people move on. They let it go. They move on. But somebody who has a deep narcissistic injury, they're a 2-year-old and somebody took their favorite toy, and that person is going to pay. And if I can't have you, nobody will. Bastards. All right. I'm trying to cut down on my cussing because Kit doesn't like me cussing. Have I dropped an F-bomb tonight? I haven't dropped an F-bomb. Give me a few minutes. I don't think I have. Do you believe some of us out here are born too sensitive? No, Jackie, I don't believe that at all. I think that's stuff that our parents tell us sometimes. That if there's a question from Sammy. If we have feelings and if we cry, that we're called too sensitive. No, I don't. Now, there is a great quote. Oh man, who is that from? There's a great quote about being sensitive because you're creative. Man, I can't. See, this is what happens with this fuzzy brain stuff. I should be able to tell you exactly who that quote is from, and I should be able to look it up and quote it to you. But yeah, super sensitive people, a whisper is a yell. Something little is something big. And we have all this sensitivity and we have this drive to create. I'm at this wonderful beach. I could be laying there snoozing. I'm writing this book. I'm on page 51, dudes. Went from 38 to 51. And I need to get busy writing because I'm going to be done and have it ready for sale on Saturday. Okay. Jedi. May the Force be with you. I can't get over my narcissist, as he also showed signs of being my twin flame. How do I recover from such an intense bond? Jedi, I don't believe in twin flames. I'm sorry. I think that's manipulation and it's addiction. Manipulation on his part. He wasn't ever your twin flame, Jedi. He read you like a book. I was listening. I've got this Kindle Dot that we talk to, and she tells jokes. Alexa tells jokes, but she reads my HG Tutor books. She'll read my book. You can get it on Kindle. She'll read it for you too. So this man that you're talking about, he wasn't your twin flame. He was the enemy of your soul. He was a con artist, and I was reading some HG Tutor, and he said, he was going on and on about how they operate. They have things called lieutenants. They don't just date. All right, I'm going to drop the F-bomb. They have fucking lieutenants. They send another dude out on your... Do you find us therapeutic? I do, Jackie. Somebody out there, she says she's an artist as well. They send lieutenants on a date to get info on you. And they search your Facebook page and they research you and they find out what kind of music you like and if you read books. Who does that? I just go out with somebody. I don't think about it. I don't research anybody. Pearl S. Buck, dude, write that down. The truly creative mind in any field. Can we get that whole thing? We're going to get the whole thing. Thank you, Mike Lambert, most valuable performer. Pearl S. Buck. We're going to get the whole quote written down. You are my man. All right. So, Jedi, God bless you. It takes time. You're going to cry a lot. You're going to feel like shit. You're going to cry some more. You're going to feel like shit some more. You're going to feel empty. You're going to feel like going out and get another flame. Don't do it. They'll be the devil as well. Okay, Sammy. How is it that they get so deep into our consciousness and our subconsciousness? I mean, these people are so shallow and so empty and so emotionally barren. Great question, Sammy. It's because of our mamas and our daddies. You're right. This woman I was involved with was a Arkansas hillbilly who wasn't very smart, but she had some major advantages on me. And that is, she knew she was a liar and a cheater, and she knew I was an old softy who wasn't real bright, and she knew I had mommy issues. She knew she could pretty well do anything she want, and I'd still be begging for mommy. So that's how, and that's why we have to heal our underlying family of origin wounds. We have to address those, and we have to heal those. Mike says, "Love you, Mark. You've really helped me." Thanks, Mike. I love that quote. That's a killer quote. So that's why a shallow, empty, emotionally barren, not very intelligent Arkansas hillbilly can basically destroy me. Reb, now about this Arkansas thing. Sorry about that. Not everybody in Arkansas is bad, and they're not all hillbillies. My bad. I just want to clarify. So Gilligan says this is an excellent session. Well, I've been doing some writing, so I got some backup material. Love me some, Mark. A shy person's support. Okay. Okay. Back to the reading here, and then we're going to read this quote. So, she's a graduate from college and not an Arkansas hillbilly. So, some people in Arkansas are like really smart. So, this individual probably spent many, many nights at my house. How do I write books? I go to the beach. I've read, this is my 7th book. I go to the beach and I leave home. And I left a big fat rat guarding the cheese when I was off in my oblivious little world. So back to this bad night I had. I'd forgotten my sleep medication in Michigan. So I tried Benadryl. And Benadryl's bad for me, man. Benadryl doesn't really work for me. The medication had the opposite effect, and I became extremely hyper. And I drove across town. I went to a Myers at 1 o'clock in the morning to search for sleep medication. I remember it was 1 o'clock in the morning, worst night of my life. I went to the first checkout booth. It didn't work out. Didn't work. Couldn't get it to work. Went to the second self-checkout booth. It didn't work. It was a good thing I didn't get arrested at Myers. I was ready to destroy the checkout booths at this horrible night. When I got home, I got in bed. It was the loudest, scariest thunderstorm that I ever seen. And it just assaulted my house, and it was so loud, and it was lightning and thundering, and I became this terrified little kid. I can refill it, I'm telling you. And it was like I was like this scared little kid. My whole body was shaking, and I was crying, and I was terrified, and I was up for most of the night, and it was a hard night. I talk about dark night of the soul. I'll tell you what, I almost went and sat in my Thunderbird and just drifted away that night 2 years ago in June. So panic attacks, you know what a panic attack is? It's like going through the real thing over and over and over and over again. Another beer. Cheers. This is still the first beer, may I add. I've been nursing it. Soul scars under the thunder armor. I'm going to read this quote by Pearl S. Buck that my brother Mike sent me. Rob thought she was having a panic attack, or having a heart attack when she was having a panic attack. The truly creative mind in any field is no more than this: a human creature born abnormally, inhumanly sensitive, Jackie. A human creature born abnormally, inhumanly sensitive. To them, a touch is a blow, and a sound is a noise, and a misfortune is a tragedy, and a joy is an ecstasy, and a friend is a lover, and a lover is a god. And failure is death. It goes on, the quote. Is there more parts of the quote, or is this all of it? It goes on and it says, you add to this, then the creative person has this drive to create. A truly creative mind in any field is no more than this: a human creature born abnormally, inhumanly sensitive. To them, a touch is a blow, a sound is a noise, a misfortune is a tragedy, a joy is an ecstasy, a friend is a lover is a god, and failure is death. So take somebody like that and put them through narcissistic abuse. Because a misfortune is a tragedy and a touch is a blow. And then you put them through the worst pain known to mankind. It's hard. Hardest thing I ever went through. Like I said, the writing was hard today, man. What time is it? What time are we getting? I have no clock. I got us at 82 minutes, but we started like 9:34. We're going to keep going. We're partying. Ginger, is it normal for the narcissist to tell you they are stalking you during my choice of no contact? I thought the point of stalking was to be secretive. This would be more of an HG tutor question. This is a little bit out of my league of expertise. I know that a greater narcissist don't think like the rest of us. HG was explaining some things about greater narcissists, and I'm like, well, I never would have thought of that. And wow, that's really weird. And it's like, clearly I'm not a greater narcissist, because nothing matched up to what he was saying. Jackie doesn't believe in clocks. All right, we're going to roll for a while. So this narcissist has an agenda, and if it served him to mindfuck you, there it is. Came out. Did I have another one earlier? Okay, we're at 2. That's good for me. I'm doing better. This guy has an agenda, and it serves him to make you scared, and he's doing it for a reason. This guy's a greater narcissist. This guy's the devil. Stay away from him.